Hi guys, just thought I'd hop on real quick. If you see me looking off to the side, just watching highlights of the Celtic game, in the background, just helps me relax while I'm making some of these. Just thought I'd come on and talk about gratitude because I think gratitude is really important, and it's just something that I guess I felt like maybe it can be lacking in a lot of us. So when I talk about gratitude, I mean like not saying stuff like, oh, you should be grateful for this because, you know, other people have it worse. No, like, in a way, yeah, maybe, but that's not the kind of angle I'm coming at it from. So, the kind of angle I'd be coming at it from would be more so think about all the ways in which you're lucky and, like, have a good long think about it. So, like, when I was making the video about my EUPD diagnosis, like the recent one, yeah, you have to acknowledge certain things happened, but that doesn't mean that I hate my parents. It doesn't mean that I hate anyone in my family, and it's more so to acknowledge the mistakes that were made by them, by me as well, and to move on from that. Blaming is never going to be a good thing. It's never going to work. And I was quite pissed off and I was quite triggered at the start, but it's not the best way to sort that sort of thing out. The best way to do it would be to think, sure, things weren't perfect. You have to acknowledge it, but that doesn't mean you hold it against people for the rest of their lives. So, what I'm grateful for is my family. So, having my mum and my brother with me who are sympathetic to me. Now, yeah, sure, we argue, we row at times, but when one of us has been like we've not all of us have been at 100% or even 90%. We've all been in a bad way for a while, but we've all supported each other. And I think that's the main thing is that if it was just one or even two of us on our own, we would have fallen apart and crumbled. But because we've all had each other, we've all supported each other in our own special way. Just take a sip of it. And I think that's what's so important to me is that I have them. Like my mum has probably been a lot more, and she has been a lot more empathetic than most parents when it comes to getting a job. Like, I'm taking time off now, and it's been a while, like, it's been over a year, without full time, proper employment. But she could have been a lot harsher on me and put a lot more pressure on me, but she didn't. So I'm very grateful to her for that. And, like, the fact that she has been very supportive and actually more so I'd be worried about her going the opposite way and being like, take some time off for yourself. And I'd be like, I understand, ma'am, that you want to look after me, and you're empathetic towards me. But this is something for my own well being that I have to do. She was never the type to do that. She was always take more time off if you need it. And that can be a good and a bad thing because it can feed into me. But then having my dad's mindset, which I am also grateful for, but that also has its negatives. Do you know what I mean? The way I go about that is that my dad is a hard worker. Work has always been too important to him. Do you know what I mean? He's always been such a hard worker and never complains about it. Just gets on with it. Unlike me, but it's like he does that, but at the expense of the family. Like he'll think, oh shit, I have to go to work, and you kind of be like, well, would you not take some time off to be with your family? He won't think like that. He'll be like, no, 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 I have to. I'll see you when I get back. You know what I mean? I'm also grateful for the opportunities I've been given. Like the fact that I've gotten college for free. A lot of people didn't get that. So that's something to be hugely grateful for. I'm even feeling more positive now just saying it, but that helped me so much because my mum didn't have the money. I didn't want to be asking her for the money. If she had to pay my college fees, I would have said, "No, mum, you're fine. I'm going into a trade instead," which is what I was going to do if I didn't get into college. And I'm glad as well that I did get in. And it gave me a chance, a chance to meet new young people my age. So that was something hugely grateful for. Um, I'm grateful that everything worked out with college too. That I was able to get through. So I'm grateful that I had the resilience, but also that when I needed little breaks here and there to help me get by, that I got by. I'm grateful that I was able to get a really good self awareness. So, like in terms of my drinking, for instance, I think I've got a much better knowledge now at a young age because of all the older people out there who've been given advice on how to avoid alcoholism at a later stage in life. And those resources weren't available before, so I'd have nothing to base it off. So now I can look at it and think, well, if I keep going down this path, it's only going to lead to negatives. So having those guys there, loads of people saying the same thing of I didn't think it was going to happen to me, and then it just caught up with me, and I wish I'd stopped drinking sooner, or at least got a hold on it. I'm going to make future videos about alcohol. I know I've already made one big one, like in detail, but I'm going to track it a bit more, and talk about addiction as a whole, because it's something that I think is very important, and I've been seeing an addiction counsellor to get to grips with this. But what I will say is that I'm grateful I have gotten a much better handle on it now, because I'm not going to tell you to not drink, but if you're doing it every weekend, all the time, it's going to seriously impact your motivation, your well-being. You're more likely to get depressed, more likely to take other drugs. That's another thing you want to consider, is that very rarely when people consume class A drugs are they only consuming them. Usually there's alcohol involved in most cases. The likes of cocaine, if you feel really down, you take a pick-me-up, and that pick-me-up is cocaine. So be wary of that. I'm very grateful that I am aware of that. I am grateful for having sport throughout school, because if I didn't have that throughout school, then could have gone off the rails, truth be told. I had something to keep me steady, to let out my frustration, let off some steam. So having that was so important as well. Just having an outlet, something where I felt worthwhile as well, because that was really challenging for me. I didn't have an awful lot of things that made me feel worthwhile, but rugby was something that really gave me a sense of I'm good at this, and people look up to me in this. And I think if I didn't have rugby, I would have been expelled. I would have been more frustrated, more angry, but I also wouldn't have learned as much respect. Like you step out into a pitch with big, strong lads, 15 on each side. Nobody has an extra advantage. You're an equal number on each team. And you get to see who the real big men are then, because, if you're not brave and you're not tough, you get your arse handed to you in the game. And there's a lot of times where I've come off feeling deflated, but also like getting a healthy respect for you've got to be tough yourself. You can't just be relying on other people, because you'll get found out pretty quick. So you've got to be your own man in that sense. So that was really important. It's just external factors for the time being. My nervous system's been shot because with the fact that I'm neurodivergent, it just means that I get exhausted just working up the courage to talk to my own teammates sometimes. I get burnt out a lot more easily if I have to socially interact. things which neurotypical people wouldn't even think about. And that's not their fault, that's just how it is for me. Like I said, this is not to blame, it's to acknowledge and to grow from it, and to offer some solid advice. Um, and that's the thing as well. Doing too many things, juggling, trying to please everyone else but myself, drinking too much alcohol, burnt me out so much, so I'm taking a breather now. But I'm so grateful for this that I have the wherewithal to do that. I have the self confidence that I didn't have before because my ego wouldn't allow me to stop. It's like, this is good, this gets me praise, so I need to keep doing it. Problem is, your threshold for all this exhaustion and burnout just wears down bit by bit. And then what happens as a result is you can't play as well, or you're just basically, breaking yourself down piece by piece until you collapse. It's like a crumbling wall. Eventually, it's all going to come down. Or the analogy that I like to use is the elastic band being stretched. You stretch it too much, it's going to snap. It can stretch only so far. And that's exactly what I was doing. And like, I am so grateful that I got through college before having my mental breakdown, if you want to call it that, because I could have had that in college. Now, that's down to me being mentally strong as well, but also having people around me helping me out that I have to acknowledge, like my family at home, who did help me out for sure. Having good friends, so that I could have this time. But I knew it was going to happen. It was bound to happen. I was doing way too much, and it was very unsustainable. I'm grateful for this little fellow over here. Yeah, well, you both. Good boy. Yeah. Hello. Good boy. Very grateful for him. Love him to bits. I've said that loads of times now, but it's true. It's true. I'm not just saying it for the camera. I told you he'd feature in future videos. But this is something that I'm very happy that I've decided to make. It just felt right to make it. To not just go, oh, this happened to me, this is shit. That is not what I wanted. What I wanted was to go, shit happened in my childhood, which led to me developing EUPD. I've got autism on top of that, and there were struggles around this as well. So, yeah, it hasn't been an easy road, but I have had opportunities now, and then I'm working with an addiction counsellor, an occupational therapist at the moment. I'm accepting my autism a hell of a lot more, and the fact that I have emotionally unstable personality disorder traits. I was told that just basically means they don't want to give you an official diagnosis because they don't want to be the ones stuck with labelling you. Plus, it's such a tricky thing to manage. But yeah, grateful for those opportunities because I was at my wit's end. If I didn't get that help, then I don't know if I'd still be here because I nearly wasn't already. I'm grateful I had the wherewithal to stick things out or to try things, try and fail at something and realise I didn't like it. Because then I know for a fact that I can tick that off, go, yep, don't like that, but now let's move on. And I'm grateful for this free time that I've been able to have, where I'm just working part time or whatever. So grateful. It's important to be grateful. I'm grateful. Here's another one that you probably don't even think of, that I live in a first world country where I'm comfortable, Everyday life isn't a struggle. You look across at what happens in Palestine, in Ukraine. I'm not going to go into that too much. You all know what I'm talking about, and those are real struggles, like real struggles. You look at what's happening in Valencia at the minute over in Spain. Look at the American election. We won't talk about that. Jesus, I'll be cancelled forever. But yeah, it's a crazy fucking place at the minute, isn't it? The world. So, like, there is a lot that I am grateful for, and you have to take a step back and go, it could be worse. Not in a negative way, but just go, look, things have worked out in your favour. Here's a big one, like the most grateful one, right? Get ready for this. I'm grateful to be alive. You think about that time I tried to kill myself. I was unsuccessful and I didn't even have any injuries afterwards because your man saw me in time and slammed on the brakes. So, very grateful about that. And on that note, guys, cheers.